Hey guys, welcome to another video. So today we're going to go over a list of beginner stocks. So the title of the YouTube video is actually called 10 Noob Stocks to Own. It's a video released by Financial Education Today. The guy's name is Jeremy. It's a huge YouTube channel. I'll put a link to it somewhere in this video. But anyway, so he goes over 10 stocks that he believes that every beginner investor should have. So I thought it was an interesting concept, and I want to kind of go over his list and give my own opinions on it, and just basically give you guys my thoughts on his picks. So the first pick is Apple. This, I agree 100%. Everybody should have a little bit of Apple in their portfolio. If you look on the 1 year chart, it's going consistently up. Apple has so many catalysts, so much potential. It's a huge company. It has a 2 trillion evaluation already, but it's only going to continue to grow. Now they have 5G, so their iPhones are going to sell more. They're talking about entering the electric vehicle space. Apple is just a beast. And also that gives off dividends too, so that's another major plus. So Apple, I think, is one stock that everyone should have in their portfolio. The number 2 he mentioned was a combination. So Facebook, we're going to go to the 1 year. Facebook, I believe, is a great stock to hold. To consolidate a little bit, so you're not going to get the same level of growth from a Facebook stock as you would from, a Workhorse or something like that. You're not going to get the pop, but it's a lot more stable, and it's definitely going to go up in the next 5 years. With all the ad money, they're doing Oculus. You also have Instagram, WhatsApp. Facebook is just a beast. Like, everyone should have Facebook in their portfolio. At least a little bit. It's also dropped now because of the whole Trump thing, but it's already come back, and now it's back on pace to continue consolidating. Another interesting one that he added, if you don't like Facebook, along the same lines as Google. So very similar to Facebook. Google's another big tech stock, very safe. I think that this is another one. I personally do not have Google just because I have Facebook and I have Apple, but I don't know. I never really bought shares of Google. It's a great company, but I just never did. So that's number 2, either Google or Facebook. I think they're interchangeable. Number 3, Amazon. So this is a crazy one. I think that Amazon is a stock that everyone should be holding in their portfolio as well. Super safe. Another big American tech company. The great thing about Amazon is that it's just involved with everything. They're competing with everyone and everything at all times. It's just such a big company. And what's crazy is there's a couple things that Amazon's got going for it. Number 1, it's not the biggest market cap company. Apple is actually worth more than Amazon. We'll look down here. Amazon is, well, Robinhood doesn't show it, but Amazon is under 2 trillion. So here we go. 1.58 trillion market cap. Apple is a 2 trillion. So as crazy as it sounds, Amazon's actually a smaller market cap than Apple. It's a little bit counterintuitive because you see the price. The share price is $3,200, but Amazon still has room to grow, and you can see on the chart it's consolidating. So if you jump in now, I mean, you could still see some decent gains over the next 5 to 10 years, especially as they move into other sectors. The other big thing for Amazon is that they could do a split. They could do a stock split, and then once Amazon's like $300 or $400, people are going to start scooping those shares up. So you really want to get in before that time. So that was number 3. So far, I'm agreeing with him. I like all of his picks so far. Number 4 is Alibaba, and Jeremy described this as a great play to get some exposure into the international markets. Basically, if you don't know, Alibaba is like the Amazon of China. They do something very similar to e-commerce. They sell everything, and sellers want to sell on it. Basically, there was a major pullback. Towards the end of October, just started to drop. But I think that if you're in for the long haul, if you're in it for 5 to 10 years, this stock will go back. It's going to go back at least to previous highs of 306. So right now we're looking at 258. It was down here, it dropped because of the whole Jack Ma disappearing, and there's questions on Chinese stocks. But if you're invested in any Chinese stock, this would be really the one to do it. Another good pick. I agree. Alibaba, good pick. Number 5. And this is where I start to veer off a little bit from what Jeremy was saying. So he mentioned Kroger. And if you don't know, Kroger is a grocery store chain, very popular in the Midwest of the United States. And Jeremy really thinks that this is a good pick. I don't agree with him. I don't think that beginner investors need to have Kroger in their portfolio. You could say it's recession-proof because it's a supermarket and it's good for the pandemic area, and it's just really, they do have a dividend, but I'm just not really sold on Kroger, to be honest. The chart doesn't really look that great. I don't know. I really don't think. I don't agree with that one. I don't agree with Kroger. So, number 6 on the list. This is a favorite of his. If you ever seen his channel or any of his stocks, this is a major position of his. Walgreens. I agree with Walgreens. I think Walgreens is a good company. They have a ton of cash. They just sold their pharmacy part of the business, so they're sitting on a ton of cash. I think with the whole Corona thing, they're going to start giving out I almost said antidote, the vaccine. And when people go to take that vaccine, some of the vaccines are in 2 different parts, so you got to come back twice. You know that when you're going to Walgreens, you're going to buy something else while you're there. So the increased foot traffic is going to help them in sales. Chart doesn't look too good, really. I mean, over the last year, they've kind of gone down, and they're coming up again. I like this play, but another option that he gave anyway for a possible competitor is CVS. Very similar. With the whole Corona thing happening, we could see more foot traffic in the actual stores, and the pharmacy will pick up again. So CVS would be an alternate play if you don't like Walgreens. The chart looks a little bit better, pretty similar. Looks like a little bit more growth. But both of these are dividend plays as well, so that works. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I would pick Walmart over the 2 of them, but that's just me. The next stock that he has over here is 7. So this is a 2-parter as well. So one part is McDonald's. I like the McDonald's play because one, like Warren Buffett says, you want to invest in stocks that people use every day. McDonald's gets used every day. Super popular, super common, all over the place, other countries, international. And one thing that people don't really think about with McDonald's is they're actually a real estate company. So they own their their locations, and they own the property that the locations are on. So even if the company goes out of business, they own all of the real estate. So you gotta think that, especially in places like Manhattan, New York, Brooklyn, New York, California, all of these spots, these are commercial areas, and they own big plots of land. They could sell that for a ton of money. So I think that's a major draw for McDonald's. Also, they do have a dividend. But so this is number 7. Another alternate to McDonald's, if you don't like the McDonald's, is Starbucks. So Jeremy said Starbucks is another potential stock that people should have. Like McDonald's, very easy to understand. Starbucks is a great company. They own their spots. I mean, they don't own the real estate, but they own the buildings. It's a franchise. And what's great about them is they're actually always in perfect locations. So what I mean by that is, so perfect example, when I was in marketing, my marketing classes would always say that if you want to open a business, you want to open it within a mile of Starbucks, just because that's the key demographic. Starbucks does a ton of research before they enter a new location. They do, demographics of the neighborhoods around. They're going to pick a spot where they're going to make money. The chart looks pretty good. Very stable growth. Good company. So I would be good with either of Starbucks or McDonald's. I might lean a little bit more towards McDonald's, but that's just me. Number 8 that he mentioned on his list of newbie stocks is Beyond Meat. So this is a fairly new position for myself, and one that Jeremy talked about a couple months ago. There's a recent trend to meat alternatives, and there's a couple people in this space. There's Impossible, there's the Very Good Food Company, and Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat, I think, is the most popular, and they just signed an agreement with Taco Bell. They're doing the Fiesta potatoes. There's talks that they're actually working with McDonald's. You can find them in BJ's and Costco and supermarkets. So this is a good stock. I have this stock. It ran up, and then it started to drop a little bit, partially because Impossible lowered their prices. But I think that in the next 5 years, Beyond Meat is really going to be a great stock to own. So I agree with this one. You should have that. Now, as a competitor, I guess, to this one, so another number 8 stock that all new investors should have is Tattooed Chef. I agree with this. I own Tattooed Chef as well. I think in the future, in the next 5 years, they're going to be big, just with the trend of how people are consuming their meals. So chart looks good. I agree with that as well. Number 9. I don't know about this one. JP Morgan. So Jeremy mentioned that, it's a big bank. They're always around. They're dividends. They're safe. They're too big to fail. Government will bail them out. All true, but I don't know. I just don't see the growth that you're going to get from JP Morgan. Great company, great dividend, but I personally would not include that in a need to be on the list type of stock. So another one that is very similar to JP Morgan that he mentioned is Goldman Sachs. So he said for number 9, you would either have JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs, another one, to me, decent stock, big stock, bank stock. Chart looks good, looks better than JP Morgan, but I just wouldn't really have any interest in it. So here's the tricky one. So number 10, he said spec stock. Have a spec stock. So all these ones that you mentioned, the first 9, all pretty safe. In the next 5 to 10 years, they will go up. So now here's your chance to pick one that is a little bit more risky, but it's going to provide a better return. So he gave a couple, but me, I think that if I was going to put my money on one stock, one spec stock, unfortunately, you know who it would probably be. People are starting to hate this company with all the ups and the downs, but I think Workhorse would be my spec stock. So I really see this going up, especially if they get the USPS contract. Right now, you're seeing all these spikes because this is a bunch of traders. People are jumping in and out of the stock, waiting for catalyst, and the catalyst gets delayed. They pull out. It's just crazy. The stock chart looks worse than it really is, but I think that once you let everything settle and all the major contracts come out, I really think Workhorse is going to be a beast in the future. So this would be my spec stock right now. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Is there any stocks that I missed for a spec stock? What do you like for your spec stock? What are your thoughts on the other 9? Please subscribe, like, share this video. I really appreciate anything you guys are willing to do to help me to grow the channel. And let me know any ideas of any future videos you want me to do. So that's it, guys. I will see you on the next one.